Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson alongside Andrew Bone of BamaInsider.com. As you saw, Drake Maye, quarterback from 2021, has decommitted from Alabama and has committed to North Carolina. And then earlier this week, you had Latrell McCutchin also decommit from Alabama. Alabama currently only has one commitment from the class of 2021, which is Deonte Lawson out of Mobile, Alabama. Bone, a lot of people going to freak out, obviously, that Alabama only has one committed prospect going into the month of March, but people should relax, right? I mean, can you kind of put all this into perspective for everybody?
Yeah, I think with Drake Maye's decommitment today and flip to North Carolina, I think many probably expected something like that to happen. We posted about it earlier today on Bama Insider to kind of watch out for it potentially happening. And, with Drake Maye committing to Alabama last summer, before Bryce Young was even on board. There was some talk about Bryce Young, but he hadn't flipped to USC or anything yet. So, Bryce Young gets on board in the fall. And even though Alabama still wanted Drake Maye, continue to recruit him. I think that, that's sort of tough to overcome sometimes, especially if you're a top quarterback, you're being heavily recruited by other programs, and especially an in-state program like North Carolina, who's having a lot of, North Carolina is not on the same level as Alabama, but, in terms of their football program, but, Mac Brown is having a lot of success, recruiting right now in that state and getting a lot of big time players, and he is a North Carolina legacy. His dad played football there. His older brother played basketball there. So, I think those were some things that probably weighed on him pretty heavily. Especially with North Carolina recruiting the way they are, and with Alabama signing the top quarterback in the country, just a few months ago, and Bryce Young going to be on campus for the next 3 to 4 years. It's probably going to be tough, and he wants to go somewhere where he may have an easier chance to get on the field a little bit earlier. Now, I don't think he's worried about competition at all. I mean, I've talked to him, I talked to Drake Maye several times, and I wasn't trying to say it like that, but in terms of just having potentially a better opportunity in Chapel Hill rather than Tuscaloosa, especially with Bryce Young going to be there for the next year before Drake Maye even gets there. I think he's going to have a chance to really develop into something special. So, perception. I think it's hasn't been a great week for Alabama in terms of losing two top commitments. I mean, two highly rated players. Of course, both of them are out of state. I think Alabama probably hopes they can get a little bit of good news over the course of the next couple of weeks with top players coming into town for visits. Got a junior day this weekend, some top guys coming in. But at the same time, I don't think it's really time to panic or fret too much. A lot of their top guys are still out there. They're recruiting. I just don't see it really being that big of a deal. Not yet. Let's kind of see where we're at, or where Alabama's at in May. Heading into the summer. That's kind of when I really look at things. Where schools heading into the summer? Where are they when they come out of the summer? Because kind of going into the summer, I think you kind of hope to have 7, 8 guys, at least, and then once summer months in, you kind of hope to have maybe 15, 16 guys on board, and then recruit throughout the season. But we're going to see a lot of guys take official visits throughout the next couple months. We'll see a lot of guys come on campus, and I think Alabama's going to be just fine.
We're talking with Andrew Bone of BamaInsider.com. You can catch all the coverage back at BamaInsider.com. Talking about Drake Maye, who recently decommitted from Alabama and committed to North Carolina, and then A couple days ago, it was Latrell McCutchin, who decommitted from Alabama. Now, the lone commitment in the class 2021 is Deonte Lawson. Tell everyone a little bit about Deonte Lawson and being an in-state commitment. Do you feel he's a firm commitment? I know we're still far out and things can change, but what are your thoughts on Lawson?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's pretty firm with his decision. He's supposed to be back up in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Had a great junior season. Was named Class 3A Lineman of the Year. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Demoy Kennedy coming out of high school. Just an excellent sideline to sideline type guy. Can play inside or outside linebacker. Really interested to kind of see how he develops over the course of the next year or so until he gets to Alabama, and then kind of figure out exactly what position he's going to play. But he can certainly move around and play just about any linebacker position. But he is the only Alabama commitment right now, and that's kind of crazy to say because there are. Everybody's going to be kind of upset with that. I think there's going to be a little bit of panic, at least from a fan base standpoint. I don't think the Alabama coaches are too concerned right now. I think they're happy with the way things are going. I think they know where they stand with a lot of top guys that are out there, and I think they're very confident on some of these big name players that are out there that are still taking some visits. And I think they're going to have a very, very good spring and summer.
Alabama has a junior day, and you can read more about that on BamaInsider.com. Sage Ryan is a 4-star coming in. You have Kane Williams, who's out from Louisiana, who's a 4-star from 2021. Can you talk about some of these guys that will be attending and visiting Tuscaloosa this weekend?
Yeah, it's not going to be really. We use the term junior day kind of loosely. I think a lot of fans and media are so used to these big extravagant junior days of the past where we've seen 100 kids on campus. Well, Alabama and a lot of these other programs, they don't really like to do that anymore because you can get guys on campus throughout the spring. More and more guys are taking visits during their spring break, so they're coming in when they can. Kids can start taking official visits in April rather than September now. So things have kind of changed, and we use the term, like I said, junior day kind of loosely. It is a day where juniors and some sophomores are coming onto campus, but it's not necessarily a big, huge recruiting event. There are going to be, I would say, anywhere between 15 to 20 guys on campus this weekend. So not really that many prospects, but they're going to have guys throughout the entire month of March and April in Tuscaloosa for visits. Like I said, just with these kids going on their spring break, so they might be in Tuscaloosa on a Tuesday, Auburn on a Wednesday, Tennessee on a Thursday. So, we'll see guys kind of throughout. But yeah, there's some good players that are going to be on campus this weekend. You got the top 2 players in the state of Alabama for 2022. Jeremiah Alexander from Thompson High School, outside linebacker, and Curtis Perry, defensive lineman from Park Crossing High School in Montgomery. Some 2021 guys kind of watch this weekend. 2 guys from Louisiana, as you mentioned, Sage Ryan, Kane Williams, both big time defensive backs. I'm not, don't think Alabama's in the driver's seat for either one of those guys just yet, but definitely 2 guys they definitely have a high interest in. Chambry Jackson, who is a big defensive end from Orlando, going to be in Tuscaloosa. Renaria Dilworth, who is a outstanding outside linebacker from North Carolina, going to be on campus. Had over 200 tackles during his junior season, so that's definitely a guy to keep an eye on this weekend. See how his visit goes, and like I said, some other guys that are going to be on campus. I think that we could potentially see some more offers extended, but it's going to be a real busy month, a real busy spring for Alabama, regardless.
All right, so just to recap, just don't freak out there if you're following recruiting and you're wondering what's going on with Alabama. Just having one commitment from the class of 2021. You're in good hands with Nick Saban. Rest assured. Bone, yesterday I put up a video. I went down, I checked out Bryant-Denny Stadium, the new tunnel. I saw the Sports Science Center outside the Mount Moore facilities. I mean, how big is this? What Alabama's doing, just adding these construction innovations, what I call them. I mean, getting to the next level. I mean, how impactful do you think that's going to be? We even saw Greg Byrne tweet out a photo today of just an enormous area for the recruits that are coming on. I mean, these innovations are next level. What is this going to mean to recruits who are coming to Tuscaloosa and really getting the pulse of this next wave of college football, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's great. There's no doubt about it. A lot of these recruits, coming on campus, they kind of understand that all this stuff's under construction right now, and it's going to look a lot different, this time next year, if they were to decide to go to Alabama. So, there's been a lot of schools that have done renovations, and they've kind of had to go through the same stuff in terms of, just having to show these guys drawings or videos. Rather than showing it to them in person. But I think, especially with the new sports science building, I think, they're going to be extremely excited, and it's going to be extremely beneficial to a lot of these kids here in the future.
All right, for more recruiting coverage, for more team coverage, we got you covered at BamaInsider.com. Just a couple more days before Alabama kicks off spring football practice. First practice for Alabama is actually on Friday, March 13th. We got you covered at BamaInsider.com. For Andrew Bone, Kyle Henderson. Catch you soon back at BamaInsider.com.